guys, Jesse with At First Glance here. You've probably heard a lot of talk about spiritual uncleanliness over the years, but today we're going to talk about how a focus on spiritual cleanliness can lead you to ignore spiritual rot. Sounds scary, right? It's not. Jared and Pastor will tell you more.
Welcome back to At First Glance. My name is Jared Lawson.
And I'm Pastor Michael Miller from First Lutheran Church here in Janesville. It's good to be back with you.
It's so good to be back. It's been a minute. We've had some other stuff going on recently.
Some other stuff.
And now we're getting back into it, finally. But it's good to see you again.
Mm-hmm.
That little thing you did with your hair.
Very nice.
I see it. Yeah, it looks good. I think you should keep it like that. That's nice. Yeah. Do you see that?
I
See
do.
what they get? That's good. So we're happy to have you back. Today we're going through a little something called Matthew 15, 10 through 28.
Mm-hmm.
And this is an exciting story, a little controversial, but that's okay. Do we got any context for this reading before we
Well, yeah. John the Baptist has been killed.
Rip John the Baptist.
Yeah. Jesus has been continuing to teach and heal people, and then the Pharisees and the religious leaders come along with a question like, why aren't you following the rules? His disciples haven't been washing their hands before they eat.
How?
It's not a hygienic thing. It's about being
Ritually
clean. Yeah.
Yeah. And so we're going to get into the Pharisees kind of calling him out on that, and then his response, and then a little interaction that we have that kind of highlights some of the things he's talking about.
Yeah.
Is that right?
That's right.
All right, let's get right into it. Again, so good to see you again. All right, if you're following along at home, this is Matthew 15, 10 through 28.
Matthew 15, 10 through 28 out of the New Living Translation of the Bible. Then Jesus called the crowd to come in here. Listen, he said, and try to understand. It is not what goes into your mouth that defiles you. You are defiled by the words that come out of your mouth. And then the disciples came to him and asked, Do you realize you offended the Pharisees by what you just said? Jesus replied, Every plant not planted by my heavenly Father will be uprooted, so ignore them. They are blind guides leading the blind. And if one blind person guides another, they will both fall into a ditch. Then Peter said to Jesus, Well, explain to us the parable that says people aren't defiled by what they eat. Well, don't you understand yet? Jesus asked. Anything you eat passes through the stomach and then goes into the sewer. But the words that you speak come from the heart. That's what defiles you. For from the heart come evil thoughts, murder, adultery, all sexual immorality, theft, lying, and slander. These are what defile you. Eating with unwashed hands will never defile you. And then Jesus left Galilee and went north to the region of Tyre and Sidon. A Gentile woman who lived there came to him, pleading, Have mercy on me, O Lord, Son of David, for my daughter is possessed by a demon that torments her severely. But Jesus gave her no reply, not even a word. Then his disciples urged him to send her away. Tell her to go away, they said. She is bothering us with all the begging. Then Jesus said to the woman, I was sent only to help God's lost sheep, the people of Israel. But she came and worshipped him, pleading again, Lord, help me. And Jesus responded, It isn't right to take food from the children and throw it to the dogs. And she replied, Well, that's true, Lord, but even dogs are allowed to eat the scraps that fall beneath their master's table. Dear woman, Jesus said to her, Your faith is great, and your request is granted. And her daughter was instantly healed.
What a reading.
Mm-hmm.
So we have his response to the Pharisees, defining what makes a person clean or unclean, defiled or undefiled. And then he has this encounter with a Canaanite woman, where it kind of comes off as an insult. Says that he only has come to the lost sheep of the house of Israel, and it's not fair to take the children's food and throw it to the dogs.
Mm-hmm.
And what do we make out from that?
Mm-hmm.
Is he trying to be mean right now?
Is he trying to be mean?
Is he trying to be mean?
Or is he just being mean?
right.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that stuck out as I was listening to it, as you read it this time, is, she's calling out to them and he doesn't answer her at all.
At all,
Just
Silence.
no response, ignored. And then the disciples are saying, send her away, get her out of here.
Yeah.
We're being annoyed.
right.
She's an annoyance to us and we want to be rid of her. And then his response at that point that, I was sent for a particular purpose to this group of people, the lost sheep of the house of Israel, and she's not one of them.
Right.
So I don't really have anything to do with her. And then she presses further, specifically speaking to him, asking him to heal her daughter, and he names that it's not fair to give the children's food to the dogs,
Mm-hmm.
which sounds like an insult to me.
It does.
But I think there's some potential nuance in there in terms of how you read the Greek word for dogs. It might be your household pet rather than the dogs,
Mm-hmm.
but it's still not a very welcoming statement.
Right.
So she persists.
Mm-hmm.
She still identifies that she could expect something from him because even the dogs eat the crumbs that fall from the master's table.
Right.
And it seems to me like there's a turn then, like maybe he sees her. I mean, usually he sees people when others aren't seeing them.
Right.
Here, I get the impression that he's not really seeing her until that moment. And then, wow, here's some persistent faith. We were just talking about the Pharisees and religious leaders who don't get it at all, and now this woman from outside of our community, the one that I was sent to, has this persistent trust
Mm-hmm.
and expectation of the goodness of the kingdom, and
Here it is.
she's
Yeah.
her daughter's healed from that moment. So it seems like a transformative moment, perhaps for Jesus, not just for the woman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think the story is about that persistence. When we don't hear anything or see any kind of change, to stay persistent.
Mm-hmm.
I see it with our prayer lives. We're not always seeing things right away, but it's important to keep that going. I think this story kind of highlights that and shows that persistence is really rewarded when it comes to our God.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. That's the quality of her character that
Right.
wins the day for her daughter.
Mm-hmm.
I think too about the that previous section, because Jesus speaks some pretty harsh words against the religious leaders.
Yes, he does.
Blind guides who lead blind people, and every plant that my heavenly Father didn't plant will be pulled up.
Yeah.
Seems to imply that they will be pulled up, and they're the religious leaders of the people of Israel. That's
Right.
sounds like he's saying that God didn't plant them. So no wonder they'd be offended by what he said.
Right.
But he's getting at something and this comes through at other places in Matthew, where he's calling the leaders out for focusing on not necessarily bad things. It's either the instruction of God in the scriptures themselves or the rules that were developed to keep those commands.
Mm-hmm.
But in pursuing the details of that, they're missing
The big picture.
the central points. And so, you worry about washing hands, but what is it that really matters?
Right.
That paying attention to self-awareness, to be conscious of what's going on in our hearts, what's driving our motivations, because it comes out. And it comes out in our words, it comes out in our actions in ways that, if we're not paying attention, we're doing the opposite of love and compassion,
Absolutely.
and destroying community rather than building it.
Right. Yeah, I agree. The Pharisees, I mean, it sounds like Jesus is telling them to take an account of what's going on inside their own hearts instead of focusing on their man-made rules.
Mm-hmm.
And he names these things that can come out of the heart that are evil.
Mm-hmm.
But then it seems with this encounter with the Canaanite woman, we see something that's coming out of the heart that's good.
Mm-hmm.
And so we ought to take an accounting of what that thing is that is coming out of us.
Mm-hmm.
Not to interrupt, but I did hear someone once refer to it as them focusing so much on spiritual cleanliness, they were willing to miss spiritual rot,
Mm-hmm.
which I thought was a really nice way of putting it.
Yeah, that's nice.
And I thought you guys would like that.
Mm-hmm.
Right, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Jesse, our producer. Yeah, I mean, that's a good point too. How often do we fix the small things and ignore the bigger problems at like our homes? I mean, I'm certainly guilty of that. I feel like it's a common thing, and then eventually it turns into a bigger problem, right? That needs significantly more attention. Whereas if you had addressed this smaller thing at first, it wouldn't have grown into such a huge mess. And I mean, Jesse's point is great here. They're ignoring the big things to fix these small things that don't really matter.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It brings to mind to me from the Beatitudes at the beginning of the Sermon on the Mount. You know, blessed are those who are pure in heart, they will see God. That clear focus that the Canaanite woman has for her daughter and her desire that she would be healed, and the trust that Jesus is the one who can bring that healing. She's not diverted by their silence, she's not diverted by the disciples' desire to get rid of her, she's not put off by Jesus' initial comments. She needs her daughter healed.
Mm-hmm.
And even if she's not the focus of his mission, there's room for her daughter to be healed.
Absolutely. I mean, her
And she stays with that until she receives that gift.
very persistent. Yeah, I admire that. Even her admission calling Jesus the Son of David is a clearer picture of who Jesus is than the Pharisees see. And it's kind of ironic that this outsider sees him for who he is when the leaders who are supposed to be looking out for him completely miss him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's really weird how that happens sometimes.
Uh-huh.
You know.
Yeah. So I mean, I think that there's this unanswered question, and you can wrestle with how you see, you know, where's Jesus in this story?
Mm-hmm.
How does he see this Canaanite woman? Does he have sort of a transformation in his own vision to be able to recognize that the gift that he's been given to bring is for more than the lost sheep of the house of Israel? Or is he right to stay in that focus and you know, that his attitude toward this woman is appropriate given the focus of his mission, but she breaks through that. I mean, how do we see that? I mean, that's an ongoing question. But the fact that the woman has that pure focus of heart for her daughter, and that God's grace is enough.
Absolutely.
For her as well. That these are the things that are central.
Yes.
That comes clearly through the story.
It does. And that makes it a happy story.
Indeed.
Even with some light poking from Jesus, you
Mhm.
know, it's fun. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I think key takeaways: persistence,
Mm-hmm.
see God, right? find him and see him for who he is.
Mhm.
Don't be blinded by whatever's going on in your own heart,
Mhm.
and then take account of what's in your heart,
Mhm.
right? These seem to be the three takeaways that I'm having from this story.
Mhm. I think there's one I would add to it,
What you got?
that there's ambiguity in this story.
Yeah.
And there's ambiguity in our lives as we're kind of wrestling with what, when we get feeling poked by the circumstances
Mhm.
that we're encountering and the lack of clarity as we seek God and to live out of the grace of the gospel, that we're not alone in that.
Right.
And it comes down to persistence in the other things that you named earlier.
Absolutely. Yeah. Embrace ambiguity. I've heard that somewhere before, I think.
Yeah.
Well, we hope you take this with you as you go into your life. I hope this prepares you for whatever you're going through. Again, your hair looks great.
Keep it up.
Keep it up. Yeah, it's great. It's great to see you again. Can't wait to see you again next week. Till then, though, it's been At First Glance.
Great to be with you again.
Absolutely.
Goodbye for now.